KC Singh, Sushant Sareen, Maruf Raza from the Indian side, from Islamabad, Ambassador Ali Sarwar Ali Naqvi and Barrister Zahid Saeed. For now, we'll have another guest joining us in a minute, Mr. Pirzada. Now, Barrister Zahid Saeed and Ambassador Sarwar Ali Naqvi, this question goes first to you, Ambassador Naqvi and Barrister Zahid. Is this all that Pakistan is now reduced to, that you are constantly griping and complaining about why India should not get a UN Security Council seat? Have you no other issues to raise, to talk about? Why have you become so petty? You know you cannot stop us from getting a UN Security Council seat.
Just a minute. No, you should first listen to what I am saying.
Sure.
Pakistan opposes India's entry into the UN Security Council.
Why?
Okay, and in that, Pakistan is with Italy, it is with Argentina, it is with a whole lot of countries.
Which whole lot of countries?
Opposed to the expansion of the Security
Why
Council.
are you paranoid?
I know it better than you do.
No.
Because I have been at the UN, you have not been at the UN.
Okay, I have not been at the UN and you've been at the UN. Then first and foremost, with the respect to you, Ambassador Ali Sarwar Naqvi, you should know that the United States of America has repeatedly endorsed a permanent seat for India at the UN Security Council. You should know that
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in the UN context. That doesn't matter in the UN context.
So why are you paranoid? So France has, UK has, Russia has.
It makes no difference if the US opposes or supports.
Even China almost
has. There are 193 countries that have
but what is your problem?
The expansion.
What is your problem?
Of the Security Council.
So explain to the viewers watching this.
Explain to you.
Yeah, what is your nervousness stemming from? What is your problem?
India is a violator. India is a violator of UN Security Council resolutions.
Completely not. Completely not. You're an exporter of terror.
Yes, it
You're
is.
a military dictatorship. You have a destabilizing role in international
No, we are not
affairs.
a military dictatorship. We are not a military dictatorship. You're wrong.
You are an unsafe, unreliable, untrustworthy
effectively. What do you mean effectively?
So
what do you mean effectively?
I'll tell you what I mean effectively, Ambassador Naqvi, if you hear me.
We are a democracy.
Ambassador.
And you should not quibble about such stupid points. This is ridiculous.
Ambassador, you must understand that the only way to make the world a better place, despite countries like Pakistan, is to allow global powers like India a greater role in stabilizing regional affairs. If we become a member of the UN Security Council, trust me, we'll take care of peace, not just in our country, but also in our region, and we'll be able to handle Pakistan better. That is in your domestic interest, sir.
We don't agree with that.
Well,
we don't agree with that.
You will not have a choice.
India is not a global power.
Sir,
India in the first place is not a global power.
Sir, people in your own country have reconciled themselves to the fact that India is the only option from the continent of Asia to become a permanent member of the UN Security Council. What explains the paranoia? Maruf, KC Singh or Sushant Sareen, please. I find this laughable.
Let me explain to you.
Sir, let's get one panelist from the Indian side before I come to you. One panelist from the Indian side. Sir, let's keep this democratic.
Let me explain.
Let's keep this equal. I will, Barrister.
Your question.
Barrister, my question.
Please.
Barrister, understand this. I know the situation that you are in.
Your question.
I know the situation that you are in.
Was directed to me.
Now, I will, but Maruf wants to come in, so we'll keep it balanced.
Let me answer.
Sir, let me ask the question. I assure you I'll come. Maruf is responding right now, and to the viewers across India, keep in mind the big story in New York is Pakistan is doing everything possible to play an irritant role on India's imminent membership of the UN Security Council. In fact, it's being reported that Nawaz Sharif might actually go ahead and make that a central point in his speech tomorrow, which is laughable because Nawaz Sharif should know nobody listens to him anymore. I began the news up by saying even Nicaragua would not give any attention to Pakistan anymore. Maruf is responding to the initial comments of Ambassador Ali Sarwar Naqvi. Maruf Raza, please. I'll come to you, Barrister, after that. Yes, please, Maruf.
Ambassador Saab, as Arnab has just brought out, your distinguished publication in your country, The Nation, has just said that India is the best choice and option for Asian countries if Asia is to have another representative at the UN Security Council, whether it's going to be a permanent with a veto or a permanent member without a veto. Those things will get worked out, as you know the UN better than perhaps
there are
all of
two
us
candidates,
here. But having said
India
that,
and
it's
Japan.
your measured
India and
opinion
Japan.
of the nation. Sir, please hear me. Sir, please, I didn't interrupt when you were speaking. Please hear me out. So whether it's India and Japan, it's fine. That way, Europe has 2, maybe 3 members already in the Security Council if you count Russia as a member of Europe and not of Asia.
That's right.
So the fact of the matter is there is no quota system that every continent should have. There's one. The second point is, and it's equally important, if the UN is to be democratically representative of the people of the world, then India is 1/6 of humanity and a big contributor like Pakistan to the peacekeeping process and various other initiatives also qualifies. Now, whether Pakistan likes it or not, I know that the UN resolutions on Kashmir, which the way you interpret it irks you, but if you look at the UN resolution of 13th August 1948, it was incumbent on you to withdraw from all of Kashmir before we implemented the plebiscite angle.
but Maruf,
so the word plebiscite is
Maruf,
not mentioned at it.
Maruf.
But for a moment, let us set it aside, sir. Sir,
Maruf, let's set that
for a
aside.
moment,
Maruf,
Arnab,
Maruf,
I just
my
want to
limited
make
point
my
to you,
last
Maruf.
point and then open it
Maruf,
up.
my limited
The
point to you,
last
Mr.
point,
Raza.
and the last
Maruf
point
Raza.
is-
Maruf, limited point.
The last point is...
Maruf, my limited point to you is, let us please...
Sir,
let us,
one limited
no, Maruf,
point
my
with
point to you.
respect,
It's
sir.
Arnab here,
Yeah,
Maruf. Okay, go ahead, Maruf. Go ahead. I give way. I give way. Go ahead.
Okay. No, all I want to say to the Pakistani guests, that let us not look at it in terms of the UN resolution that hangs for you as an article of faith, that will be washed away if India becomes a member of the Security Council, which is not going to happen tomorrow, sir. You know it, I know it. But the process has to start sometime, and the 70th year, this year, 70th year of the UN is a good time for it to look at it afresh, of what the UN has come to be as a toothless organization currently,
Barrister.
from what it was expected to be when it was founded in 1945.
Okay, so let's keep our interventions
The
brief.
central point is that
Maruf.
the UN must revamp itself. The UN must revamp itself with India and many other countries.
Okay, so-
whether it is something which you don't like,
Sure.
that's a separate issue. But I think by all qualification marks, and if people are talking about poverty in India, poverty is equally in China. Only China keeps it around a curtain, and we are open as a democracy, so you can point fingers at us.
No, you see,
Poverties are in
I
all
think, Maruf,
countries.
Maruf,
Even
let's
in the
keep it
United
focused.
States, you'll see
Maruf,
poverty. So
Maruf,
let's not
I would
try.
like to say something.
And is the UN, and Arnab, is the UN Security Council going to be only a rich man's club? Is it going to be only a rich man's club? I'd like Pakistan to answer that.
Okay,
And
Barrister
it-
Zaid
it
Said.
did qualify on the measure of
Barrister Zaid Said, the responding
as
to
a
Maruf.
booming economy.
Barrister Zaid
To be a
Said.
member.
Yes, Maruf,
Which
complete
world
your
are you
points now,
living in,
please.
sir?
Maruf, you
Which
made a very
world?
long intervention. Barrister Zaid Said is now
quiet.
responding, please. Yes, Barrister.
Yes, look, Pakistan's position is one of principle. What it says is that the total membership of the Security Council can be increased, giving an opportunity to all concerned to be members of the Security Council.
Sorry, it's not musical
Now,
chairs.
India, wait, please listen. In India's position is we wish to become members of the Security Council. Now, in order to do that, the charter has to be amended by 2/3 of its members, including 2/3 of Security Council, plus the permanent members of the Security Council.
No, Barrister.
Now,
Barrister.
this is not
Barrister, it will
possible
happen.
at the moment.
Barrister Zaid
because-
Said, I have a piece of
because-
advice for you.
Wait a second.
Barrister, I have a piece of advice for you.
Let me finish.
Barrister,
Please let
but Barrister,
me
when you
finish.
can't beat them, you must join them. That's the golden rule in diplomacy as well in his life. You can't beat them, join them. You are going to be beaten to this. You can't beat India. You join India and realize, Barrister, where you are speaking from, I understand Pakistan has an inferiority complex, you see. Now, I can be blunt with you and tell you why India deserves to be a permanent member and Pakistan does not. We, India, are one of the founding members of the United Nations. We are a nation of great significance in the Committee of Nations.
So is Pakistan.
Unlike Pakistan, which has been suspended from the Commonwealth twice, we are a trusted power globally. with the likes of the United States and other countries inking civilian nuclear deals with us.
Pakistan
You are a
left the
country.
council.
You are a country which has a
Pakistan was not
sordid history.
suspended.
You are a country which has a sordid history of nuclear
you
proliferation,
distort facts.
as was evident with
Listen,
AQ
Arnab,
Khan.
you are
You are a
distorting all
country
the
that
facts.
allows for nuclear smugglers selling nuclear secrets to other countries, many of them rogue nations, in
No,
exchange
ridiculous.
in
You are
exchange for
distorting
cash.
the
It's not
facts.
ridiculous.
And this is
I will
just
prove
to
it to you, sir.
your stupid
Sir,
point.
sir, it's
Look,
not.
no,
sir,
this
it's
is wrong.
not ridiculous. You are an untrustworthy country that supplies centrifuge technology to North Korea and Libya in return for cash. Am I right or wrong? How can you be trusted? Your economy is in the doldrums. You are an abettor of terrorism.
Look,
you
wait a
promote
second.
nuclear smugglers.
Wait a second.
Sir, you need to be put in your
Please
place.
listen.
And one of the
You
ways of
have
putting
got
you in your place
a
is to give India UN Security Council
You
seat.
see,
Please, sir,
India
understand.
has not got into the Security Council for the last 15 years, and it's not going to get into
Well,
the
you know,
Security
then why do you
Council
then
for the next 15 years?
if that is not the case, then why are you getting so nervous about it, Sushant Sareen? If you believe India is not going to get
We
into
are
the
not
UN Security
nervous.
Council,
We are not nervous.
Why
We are
make-
not nervous at
if you're
all.
not nervous about it, why
You
is
know,
your Prime
look.
Minister talking about it, Sushant Sareen? KC Singh. If you're
You have
KC,
got-
KC and Sushant
you
Singh.
know, for the Pakistanis,
We have to state
Arnab,
our
for the
position.
Pakistanis to
You
talk
have
of
got
principles is like the devil quoting the scripture.
Pakistan-phobia.
But
No.
Oh,
They were
okay, fine. We have
quoting the
Pakistan.
scripture.
A minute,
they
Fine, fine.
Barrister, Barrister.
You,
no,
don't
absolutely,
cut us
sir.
off.
Sir, you are
Don't cut us
absolutely
off.
right. We are
Listen.
we have a phobia of Pakistan because Pakistan is the most hip and happening country in the world. It's the global rock star. I agree. I give it all to you. It's the most prosperous country. It's technologically most advanced.
Yes.
It doesn't have Shia Sunni riots. It
Yeah.
doesn't massacre minorities. It's a great country. I agree. Now, if I can make my point, for you to quote the principles of the UN
Thank you.
or the UN Charter is like the devil quoting the scripture, number one. Number two, in a manner of speaking, or no, I think this debate is rather facile.
I didn't make-
for a very simple
I didn't make
reason
the charter.
that neither Pakistan's
India and
objection,
Pakistan made the
neither
charter.
Pakistan's objection to India's entry into the UNSC, nor Pakistan's support to India's entry into the UNSC is going to get us into the UNSC. So Pakistan is quite irrelevant as far as I am concerned. They'll try and play the spoiler, they'll try and snap at our heels, which is what their want is. But I don't think beyond that, Pakistan is material to that entire debate of India entering the UNSC. They'll try and get into bed with countries like Italy and
All
some
right,
of the other
all right.
countries,
Good.
which have their own reasons
What
for
is the
making
debate?
this kind of a lobby.
What is
But I don't think that's
the-
material. So
what
I think
is
we are
the
looking
debate?
at the larger
The
picture,
debate is-
and we are trying to
Please.
get into a larger
Please.
kind of a networking to
I'm
make our case for entry into the UNSC. And whatever the Pakistanis say is not going to make any difference, frankly speaking. That's my viewpoint.
Okay, understood your viewpoint out there. Now,
Be careful.
now,
If it
Barrister
does not-
KC Singh.
If it doesn't make a difference, why should you be concerned?
But why are
If
you
it doesn't
raising
make
it?
a difference, you should not
Okay,
be-
fine. Why are you raising
tell-
it? You have no issues
Which
to
is
talk
why I
about.
said it's a facile
Okay,
debate.
No, why,
let me explain.
no,
Why are we
Barrister, why is this a central?
Let me explain why
is
we
it
are
a central
raising it.
theme for the
We are
Pakistanis?
raising-
If India is
This
not
is-
going to get into UN
this
Security
is
Council,
not-
why is it a central theme for the
This
Pakistanis?
is not in.
Why is it a
This
central
is
theme for
not
the
India
Pakistanis?
specific.
No, but
Pakistan.
No, but you should
I'm
have
sorry.
seen the kind of statement and the kind of breastfeeding
it is a matter
that Malia
of
Lodi made
principle.
in the UN after
It is a
after the
matter of
UN agreed
principle.
to go in and discuss the UN Security Council expansion. You should have just heard and seen the way she was reacting as though the heavens have fallen on her. So for the two distinguished guests from Pakistan to say that, you know, Pakistan really doesn't care and etc., it doesn't hold any water because they don't put their money where their mouth is, and where their mouth is very clear. The way Malia Lodi was, panicking when the
No,
UN
I get KC Singh. Maruf, one second, wait. Maruf,
an important point to
Maruf, one
understand.
second. Maruf, I need to get KC in first. One second.
Why
I get Casey here. Can I get Casey Singh?
Why don't you ask
Barrister?
Argentina?
Barrister, you-
Why don't you ask
Barrister.
Italy?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask Poland?
Yes.
Why don't you ask these countries?
Yeah, because Italy
don't
has a
ask
problem
China?
with Germany.
Why don't you ask China?
And Italy is a bankrupt
It
country
is
in its
a-
own
it
right.
is a
Argentina
general
has
problem.
defaulted
It's a
a
global
number of
problem.
times.
It's
You have
not
also
India
been on the verge of
specific.
default a number of times.
Right.
So what is and Argentina has a problem with the Brazilians.
Sure.
So what are you talking about? Either you don't know how international system works.
Barrister Zahid Saeed, I'm sure you are
these
next going to
countries
say,
oppose the
why don't you
expansion
ask
of the Security
Madagascar, why
Council?
don't you ask Papua New Guinea, why don't you ask Nicaragua? Well, because the United States, US, France and Russia
you have no
appeared
understanding of the UN.
are slightly
you have
more...
no understanding.
Sir, the
I'm
fact
sorry.
is you are getting nervous now. Now let me get Casey into the debate. Sir, reality is this. India's bid has received a huge boost in the UN on September 14th, agreeing on text-based negotiations for UN Security Council reforms, a process that had been till now stalled for various reasons. The fact is, Casey, this process has now moved, and that is what is making Pakistan nervous. There is a context to Pakistan making this an issue, is there not? Casey.
I think this is an additional factor, you're right, but what is happening is that there is also a level of frustration because India's postponed dialogue with them, citing different reasons that they have to conform to certain preconditions and they are not willing to accept those preconditions. Although every September, whenever UNGA meets, Pakistan does a bit of breast beating in New York, but this time I think it's crossed all lines. This time it's a degree of desperation where they're trying to show that India is in breach of Security Council resolutions, and therefore, but let me just explain to the Pakistani guests, because for 2 years I was sitting in the G4 meetings from 2005 to 2007, so I know a bit about the expansion and the expansion of the Security Council. Now what any resolution which will be brought will not talk of India, it will not talk of Japan. He'll talk of the expansion of the Security Council, say going from 15 to anything up to 25. And it is universally accepted that there have to be 2 additional seats for Asia. Now, once they come up, we have no problem at all. Let Pakistan put up their candidature for that seat because there will be an election after that. So what is the panic? Why are they stopping it? If they think their stand is that popular and India is a very bad country, let the framework be available. Here are 2 seats available, and when the elections are held, if they get elected, good luck to them. Let them be elected as a permanent member. Permanent member is not going to be because somebody makes them.
Are you aware of the UFC,
123
the Uniting for Consensus? Are you aware of the UFC?
I am aware of
because
it.
There are a number of countries.
I'm more than aware.
Yes. So Pakistan is part of the UFC,
marginalized
and
countries.
that is number of other countries.
One dozen marginalized countries. Italy is falling off the European map. It's not even the 3rd largest economy in Europe. Argentina is in all kinds of trouble.
You call them
so you are
marginalized.
amongst
They don't
countries which are
consider
never
themselves
going to get anywhere.
marginalized.
Which are never going to get. No, also
I
Pakistan
don't
doesn't
agree.
consider
I
itself
don't
a
agree
marginal
with that.
power. But that's what you are.
Arnab.
So therefore,
India should
what will
consider
happen
itself
will
a
be
marginal
100
power. Yeah, what are you talking about?
So what
Out
are you
of
talking about, sir? You know, if
out of
India is the
190
world's
So
India is
what
the world's
panic?
largest
We are a
democracy.
marginal power, very good.
No, India is the world's largest
No,
democracy.
we are a
have
marginal
elections
power.
at every level, right from the center to the panchayats, unlike Pakistan, which has spent about 60% of its independent existence being a tin pot military dictatorship. I did not want to be rude to you tonight, Ambassador Ali Sarwar Ali. But you know,
not only that,
but you're
but even
forcing
the
me to tell you the facts.
World Bank, Arnab, 1 second.
No, 1 second.
IMF and
not
World
be
Bank are
rude. You
accepting
should not be rude.
we are the drivers of global growth today. We
You
are the
see,
only major economy
because
growing
you
today.
bring in all
Even
kinds
the Chinese
of
are slipping.
extraneous points.
We are a growing economy.
And Malia Lodi is a
So
star.
therefore,
I can tell you
Pakistan
she's one of the best
Very good.
regarded
Then get-
permanent
very good. When the
representatives in the
elections-
UN.
Fine. If she's
Why are you saying don't expand the Security Council? I'm saying let it be expanded. Put
Arnab.
up your candidature for it.
No, Maruf, what's
Maybe you might become a permanent member.
It-
Why are
it
you
should
in
not
panic?
saying that. We
You
are
know
not
you can't
saying
become a
that.
It should be
permanent member.
expanded on an equitable basis.
Yes.
On an equitable basis.
Okay.
What is equitable basis?
What
Out of 193,
Define-
123 will vote.
Equitable
They are saying
basis.
all
Look, I'll tell you
193.
define equitable. Define equitable.
A
1 second.
change
1
of-
minute. Casey.
what is
Casey,
equitable?
Casey, let's be focused. Casey, let's make make it focus.
Fair to all. Fair to all.
Ambassador Naqvi.
Let me answer
Ambassador
his question.
Naqvi and Barrister Zahid
Equitable
Saeed.
basis.
Ambassador Naqvi and Barrister Zahid Saeed. I take this debate forward on the terms that are set tonight by our Pakistani panelists. They say expand the council right by equitable basis. Now let's say equitable basis on the basis of
take the size of economy, size of population.
Fine. Exactly. So KC, let's start with economy. Okay? Let's start with economy.
Take the size of economy. We are $2 trillion.
Exactly. So you know what? I'm sorry for the comparison. Sir, let me come in. Ambassador Barrister Zahid Saeed.
Plus members.
No.
And they don't have any representation.
Ambassador Naqvi, I accept your terms. Now let me conduct the debate, please. With your permission, you're sitting in Islamabad, me in Mumbai, they in Delhi. We can't fight like this. Let's focus on it. Now, I take it on your terms. And again, I must tell you this. I mean this with absolutely not the slightest amount of disrespect to you. But if Madagascar says tomorrow that we want to be in the UN Security Council, well, good luck to them. We can't stop them from having aspirations, but you must be realistic. Similarly, if countries like Papua New Guinea and Pakistan, if Papua New Guinea and Pakistan say tomorrow we want to be in the UN Security Council, again, no disrespect to either Papua New Guinea or Pakistan, but in terms of global stature, perhaps both countries are somewhere at the same level. Sir, you need to be realistic about your real standing in the world. Sir, please, no, Ambassador, this is not fair. You are blocking me in my introductory comment. No, this is not fair.
I did.
One more data.
Sir, no.
I disagree.
Arnab, I just want to add one data.
Okay, go ahead.
May I
Please.
just add one data?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one data.
Yeah, go ahead.
UN budget.
Then
If you
it's
take
our
US
turn.
out,
It is not data.
hold on
You
one
are
second,
giving
one second.
prejudices.
1 second, just listen 1 second. 1 second. Brazil, Germany, India and Japan contribute more to the UN budget than Britain, France, Russia and China. Do you know this? Our budgetary contribution is more than that of 4 of the 5 permanent members.
That's right.
If you leave US out of it, just go and study the documents. So how are they sitting there and we are outside?
Exactly.
You're
There
right.
must be
there
some.
are too many other problems. Africa,
Arnab,
all of
can I come up?
What are the
African
problems?
continent of 50 plus members has no seat in the Security Council.
Yes.
Equitable means equitable all
denying
over
them.
the globe.
Sir.
And then
So
India
of
is
course,
not the issue.
we are not denying
Nor
them.
is Germany the issue.
Yes.
Nor
We are
Japan
not
is the
denying
issue.
them.
May I
It is
tell you
the
tomorrow?
Question of
Arnab.
equitable.
No, I'll tell you about
representation
equitable.
in the
I'll
Security Council.
tell you about equitable. Ambassador, now you're not letting me come in. Maruf, just 1 second. I just want to set the record. See, Ambassador Naqvi, do we in India grudge you your aspirations? No. Welcome, Mr. Pirzada. We welcome your aspirations. Everybody has a right to be ambitious. Tomorrow, Congo may say that we are in an equitable world. Congo has as much rights to be part of the global order as South Africa, but it isn't the reality, you see. Tomorrow, you understand what I'm saying, sir. Greece is Greece and the United Kingdom is the United Kingdom. Now, Athens is not the financial district in London. Similarly, you need to come to terms. You need to come to terms slowly, consciously, and without any insecurity about your real position in the world. You see, now, it's been a long time since 1947. Today, India has a GDP. You know India's GDP? Our GDP is over $2 trillion. We are about 10 times your size in the economy.
You are diverting.
No,
you
I'm
are
not
digressing.
diverting. This
you
is
are
the
digressing. You see,
Arey bhai, realize no, Ambassador, you are
is
a
not the issue.
Ambassador, India is the issue.
Americans may promise India.
No,
the Security Council seat,
look at
but that will not get them Security
look at your condition. Look at your condition. Barrister, 1 minute. Pirzada, welcome. Look at your condition. Don't get embarrassed about it.
That's not the issue.
Sir, don't get embarrassed about it. जो सच है वो बोला जाएगा. आपको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, कड़वा लगेगा. मारूफ, 1 second. मैं इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट एस्टैब्लिश कर देता हूँ मारूफ. उसके बाद आप डिबेट को आगे ले जाएं. कॉन्टेक्स्ट ये है कि पाकिस्तान की हालत बहुत खराब है. Pakistan's FDI has plummeted by 58% to some $700 million. I mean, Indian companies are bigger than the whole economy of Pakistan. Do you realize that? Secondly, Pakistan's Bureau of Statistics reports that your exports are only at some $23 billion. Individual Indian companies are bigger than Pakistan. Pakistan's growth rate is less than that of half of India and
But
China.
you also have 500 million people under the weather.
Sir, please realize, I don't mean to insult you.
500 million people
I'm not. This is not meant to insult you. This is meant to. This is not meant to insult you, barrister.
Arnab.
This is meant to give you a taste of reality. Why does reality hurt you?
Arnab.
You see, India's.
You are the poorest country in the
So
world.
we are the second fastest growing economy in the world on planet Earth. We are the world's second fastest growing economy. Where are you? Which world are you in, sir? Why don't you, there's a big gap between you and us. You can't block us from entering the UN Security Council. Dream on. Pirzada joining the debate right now. Maruf wanted to come in before that. And by the way, we have
Arnab.
Maruf come. Sir, give it up.
Arnab,
I say give it up tonight, your blockage to the UN
Arnab,
Security Council. Maruf
Arnab,
and then Mr. Pirzada.
Arnab,
Yes, please. Maruf and Mr. Pirzada, please. Yes, Maruf.
Arnab, I just want to take on. Sir, please allow me, sir, 2
Sir,
minutes.
I've only told you the
Guest
reality.
from Pakistan, sir, please allow me 2 minutes. Sir, please allow me 2 minutes. Just allow me 2 minutes. I don't want to sort of upset you any further.
Yeah.
But just to take on a couple of points that Arnab and Mr. KC Singh raised. Even though when you say that we have whatever 500, 400 million people who are living below poverty line, please remember a member of the Security Council, China, if it realistically gives out figures, also has something close to 450 million people who are living in abject poverty but away from the eastern zone of China where the booming growth is taking place. China hides its figures, we don't. Second point, sir. If the UN is to be truly representative of the world community, then how can 1/6 of the world Yes, sir. You are right, sir. You are right. And we gave the seat to China, as you would know only too well, in Nehru's idealism. We parted with the seat. But I don't want to go into that. And then the UN was founded. There were 51 countries, 5%, 10% of them became Security Council members, which is 5. Today, if the UN is 194 and some say there are more countries added on to the list, then the UN Security Council should again be 10%, which is 20 countries. Now, if Pakistan also becomes a member of that, good for you. But the fact of the matter is there are some undeniable people, that countries that are figuring in the list, and India has been figuring in the debate again and again. You may make a coalition of losers. Whether it's Italy, Argentina, tomorrow you'll pick up one or two others in Africa who'll say we support Pakistan. Good for you, sir, good for you. What we are saying there must, if there are barometers laid down abjectly to measure under what grounds a country comes into the UN Security Council, it has to be population, it has to be your democratic credentials.
Economy.
You are a quasi-democracy at best of times. Otherwise, half your time you're a military dictatorship. Thirdly, the size of the economy. Fourthly, the respect for international interventions and the rule of law. We are the largest contributor to peacekeeping from from the time peacekeeping was established, and the largest number of soldiers who have died in peacekeeping are Indian soldiers. We are paid in blood,
100% right.
We are not paying in
from
dollars.
The Pakistani
and
side.
Let me also tell you that if the new countries, sir, suniye meri baat, if the new countries are incorporated in the Security Council, the UN will at least be able to pay its bills. Right now, when America pulls out the checkbook, only then the UN begins to move. Otherwise, the UN is a passive observer to how to pay its bills because without American contribution, which, as you know, has happened in the past where America stalled contribution because UN was not delivering. So tell me, sir, on what yardstick can you challenge India's entry into Security Council?
It defies my imagination. Maruf, I hand it over. Maruf, our next speaker from the Pakistani side, as Maruf asked you, on what yardstick? Maruf, the reality is even Mr. Pirzada. Now, people like Mr. Pirzada will only be motivated by that historical animosity against India. But the points that you raised, Maruf, about the goodwill that India has earned, India evacuated 5,000 people from Yemen, from different nationalities, including the Pakistanis. The Pakistanis should be grateful for us for our evacuation from Yemen. India sent 1,677 sorties by various aircraft. The Indian Air Force carried out those relief efforts in Nepal. The People of Pakistan should watch and learn, Mr. Pirzada. You have no locus standi, but you have a huge inferiority complex. Now, Mr. Pirzada, what we are saying to you is this. Take satisfaction and pride in the fact that India has got to where it is. Support our Security Council bid. You can't block it. You have no locus standi today, you see. You are an unsafe, unreliable, untrustworthy country, suspended from the Commonwealth, isolated all the time, a country that only Hafiz Saeed is safe in, a largely destabilizing role in international affairs. In fact, many people say today, Mr. Pirzada, that one of the reasons why India should get a UN Security Council seat is to be able to put Pakistan in its place, and that's why almost all the Security Council members, including China, are backing our bid. Including China, your so-called friends. Mr. Pirzada, it's a lost case. Give it up. Give it up, Mr. Pirzada. It's your turn on the debate.
right.
If you have any points to make at all, please.
right.
Go ahead.
Arnab, are you finished?
No, I have
you
much more to
finished?
say, but if you'd
Now
like to
give
come in,
us
please.
some time. All right, let me Give us some get time. started. As a house of corruption, this is a monologue. rape, underdevelopment, poverty, This is a monologue. failed diplomacy, and isolation in South Asia, India is in a bad shape. It has never been in a worse shape than it is today here in South Asia and the world. It's a house of corruption again, house of rape, house of isolation, house
Mr.
of
Pirzada, Maruf,
you seem to be,
Focus on the
Mr.
facts.
Pirzada, you seem to be
Focus on
reading
the
out
facts,
the
Maruf
CV of
Raza.
Pakistan. Mr. Pirzada, you are reading out the CV of Pakistan, not India. Look into the mirror. You are reading out your own CV, Mr. Pirzada, not India's.
I want you to register this fact that we will never let you become a member of the
And what will
Security
you do if
Council.
we do?
You can keep bashing Pakistan. You can keep bringing Casey Singh. Or
Your view doesn't count.
Or someone
Mr.
else.
Pirzada, Pakistan
Our view,
is in
our
the committee
Maruf
of
Raza
losers.
is dreaming.
Your views
You are
don't
licking
count.
our boots at the present time. You will have to lick our boots before we ever say yes. For you
Really?
to become
How nice.
The member of the Security Council.
Mr. Pirzada.
Mr. Pirzada, don't delude. Mr. Pirzada, don't delude yourself any further. Otherwise, you'll jump off the rooftop thinking you'll fly.
In this region, with the help of China, you guys are nowhere at the present time. You can go. Sheshma Swaraj
Mr.
can go to
Pirzada
White House.
thinks-
She can
Casey
go to
Singh,
White
please.
House,
Mr. Pirzada,
stand next to
Ornab,
that
No,
Ornab.
no.
Mr. Pirzada,
Mr. Pirzada is flying off the handle
is
tonight.
such a delusionary character that, he defies reality. He defies reality.
That's true. That's true.
Why is the reality? All right, become a member of Security Council without our nod.
Without your nod, okay, Casey Singh, this is getting really amusing right now. Mr. Pirzada, you actually believe. Let me
I
read
think-
out to you
yeah,
your
Mr.
editorial today. One second. Okay, Casey Singh wants to come in. The
You are a
editorial.
bunch of losers.
Sir,
India is a
Mr.
house of
Mr. Pirzada,
poverty,
you're not
rape,
Mr. Pirzada.
corruption, house of aggression, out
Mr.
of
Pirzada.
illegal
Mr. Pirzada.
occupation.
Yeah.
Mr.
You're a
Pirzada.
bunch
Madam,
of
it's humorous.
underdeveloped country.
lost it.
And
As
you
they say,
claim as
Mr.
though you are
Pirzada has
listening to
lost
the
it
world
tonight.
Mr. Pirzada.
You are not,
Ornab,
you are not
Mr.
even-
Pirzada,
Ornab,
I
believe
can.
me.
not even
Mr.
close to-
Pirzada
Ornab, believe me.
saying,
close to the task
Ornab.
of Chinese.
and then one second.
Ornab,
Maruf,
Ornab, the Security
Maruf,
Council
one second,
debate.
No, Casey is
Ornab,
coming
the
into the
Security
debate.
Council
Maruf,
debate is a
Casey,
serious
Casey and
subject.
Mr. Pirzada.
Why do you get comic characters like Pirzada?
No, because even
why
my-
do you get comic characters like
Oh, and why
Pirzada?
do we
He's
get
only of comic value.
characters
There is no
like
intellect
Arnab
value.
And Ross agents like Maruf Raza and other characters like Casey Singh and other folks over here. Come on, I've seen you all.
Just because,
You're just
Mr. Pirzada, just because you are an established, Mr. Pirzada, just because you are an established ISI flunky,
That's the point.
don't expect everybody else is an agent of an intelligence agency.
Don't put words in my mouth. You know who you are.
Mr. Pirzada, you actually seem quite flattered
Do
at
you
being
know
called.
who you are?
No, Mr.
And you so
Pirzada,
do you.
I'm getting concerned. You actually seem quite flattered at being described
Look,
as
I
a
am fully
spokesperson for the
energized
ISI. Now,
to
now,
dismantle
let's be
India's
serious here.
image around the
let's
world.
be serious. Let's be serious.
And I'm committed to that.
Yeah, let's be serious here. Let's be serious. This entire story stems in.
Arnab,
Okay,
can
last
I
3
talk
minutes
about
on the debate.
Pakistan
I'd like
image?
Casey to come in. After that,
Oh,
Sushant Sareen
I
coming
have-
back to you.
I have literally
put you on the
let me just
defensive
tell you about
now.
Pakistan's
No,
image.
You don't even have words.
Now, let me tell you about Pakistan's image.
I truly have no words to describe
Pakistan's
my
image
reaction
is that
to you.
it's the largest exporter of terrorism. It's competitive only in two goods in
Who
the
is the
world. One
largest
is terrorism
exporter?
and the other
India.
is polio.
Samjhauta
Those are its
Express,
most competitive
the murder
exports
of
in the world.
Muslims in Gujarat,
Number one. Number two,
the displacements
unlike
of
Pakistani
Holocaust,
society
you guys have
where
no face
rapes
to
are
show.
hidden,
You have
in
a
India
Prime Minister
a
who was
rapist is
banned
caught
from
and
entering
punished.
the United States.
Unlike
You
Pakistani
guys-
society
the
where
man
for all
who
their
was a
Islamist
defender 50
pretensions
years
they
ago,
go and bugger
still a
little boys
defender
and then
for-
their
for
government
Mr.
goes and
Barack
defends
Obama
those people.
when he came
They
to you,
provide
New Delhi.
alibi to those people. At least we don't bugger little boys by the hundreds in our villages. This is what the Pakistanis do. We don't go and bugger little boys in the name of masculinity in the northwest of provinces. And perhaps a person
no
like Mr.
personal
Pirzada
comments.
has suffered that kind of degradation
No,
in his
no,
childhood,
no personal
which is why
comments.
he
No,
speaks the way
Sushant,
he speaks.
Sushant,
I think
no
he has
personal-
some kind of a mental
Sushant, no
derangement.
personal comments
There's
on this.
nothing more than that one can say about this guy.
Let's remain focused on the issue here right now. Now, Casey, we are closing this part of the debate.
Yeah,
no
this
personal
is
comments.
issue.
disgraceful.
One
There
second.
is no
Ornab,
issue.
despite
You
Ornab,
can
despite
never
Mr.
become
Pirzada's
a
chest
member
thumping,
of
Ornab,
the
despite Mr.
Security
Pirzada's
Council.
chest
You
thumping,
can
let me
never
remind him.
become
Let me
a member
remind
of the
him that
Security
Pakistan's
Council.
economy
Lick our boots.
is smaller
Lick
than
our
that of
boots,
the state of
and only then it'll
Maharashtra.
happen.
Compare the figures.
Okay.
Ornab,
Okay, last one.
Pakistan's economy is smaller than the state of Maharashtra,
Okay.
where Mumbai is.
Maruf.
And Pakistan thinks it can buy its way into any international forum. It's deluding itself.
Okay.
We
Now-
have the largest investment coming into Pakistan, and you guys are jealous. You guys are worried that Pakistan's income is going to
Good
go,
for you.
you know,
Good for
way
you.
up in the days to
Good
come.
for you. Good
And-
for you.
And
You
Chinese,
need it.
And the
Mr.
Chinese
Pirzada,
are,
you need
and the
it.
Chinese, whom you hate
need
so
it,
much,
Mr. Pirzada.
they are
Good
our
for you. I'm
strategic
glad.
partner right now.
Okay.
We have isolated you. We have isolated you in the region.
Okay,
So they are
Mr.
hanging on to the Chinese coattails. They have no substance of their own.
Well
It's either
done,
the
Mr.
American
Pirzada.
coattail
Well
or
done.
the
You have been
Chinese
hanging
coattail
on.
or
managed
somebody
A last
else's
point tonight, a
coattail.
last point on this
managed to
debate
achieve
before I
what
go to
Heritage
debate
Money
number two.
dictators
Before
have-
I go to debate number two,
Boots of
gentlemen,
John Kerry.
please, one
Just
second.
yesterday.
Casey Singh,
Just
Casey Singh. Now let's take the bull by the horns, Casey
And this
Singh.
is the
No, one
show
second. Let's take the
that
bull by
you
the
had
horns.
last year.
When
You know,
Sharif went crying to
Narendra
Obama,
Modi went to
when a fully grown man called
and you
Nawaz
are having the same
Sharif,
show
when a fully
this
grown
year
man
at this
called
moment.
Nawaz Sharif,
Can you just-
when a fully grown man called
see,
Nawaz Sharif, Casey
see,
Singh,
a
I'm
Pakistani guest-
trying to get
You are
Casey
just
into the
stretching
debate.
your-
Can I just
Mr.
come in?
Pirzada,
You
take
know
a,
what
Mr.
to
Take
do.
You'll have
Pirzada.
to turn their mics.
Mr. Pirzada, just take a little bit of a deep breath, please.
You'll
Calm
have to
down.
turn their sound
Calm
down.
down.
Yeah.
Calm
Listen,
down. Okay.
You know,
Now,
you
now,
can't
one
win
second.
by force.
Thank you.
You
Mr.
can turn
Pirzada-
off the mic, but you'll lose the voice.
Mr.
Okay, Mr. Pirzada. Mr. Pirzada, Casey is coming into
Mr.
the debate.
Pirzada.
He has something to say to you. Go ahead, Casey.
Yeah. You see,
Oh,
firstly,
I've heard
just
you all.
on
Don't
the lighter side,
stop talking about me.
P5.
Say something if you
P-
have. Say something. Say something.
You
if
were-
have
you were-
something.
Say, learn to listen. Learn to listen.
Ornab, why do you
P5,
take
the
That's gonna be
permanent
something
5,
new.
the P,
Sure,
P
now.
and
Oh,
P5.
come on.
I mean, he's the
Guys,
disaster.
grow
The
up.
P5
You got nothing to say. You are a bunch of Pakistan bashers. You have no seriousness. I know you all very much. For I have the years of
You are very
experience of
serious.
knowing you.
You're
You
the
know
biggest
that.
buffoon on television, actually.
Ornab,
Yeah, a bunch
please.
of buffoons and
Pirzada,
nothing
just
else.
calm down, learn to listen. Just a minute,
Go
Maruf,
ahead,
1
Casey.
second.
Go ahead, Casey.
The
No,
more you
listen.
provoke
Go
them,
ahead,
the more
Casey.
they do the chest
Mr.
beating.
Pirzada, please. Go ahead, Casey.
Listen, I think
Who is the next
it is high
speaker? Who is
time
the next
Pakistan
speaker?
realized our intents that Pakistan has to
Oh,
live
don't
in
tell
this neighborhood.
Pakistan what
It
to
cannot be a
realize.
permanent shackle on India.
tell yourself
India's
what
rise.
India must
You
realize.
cannot have a veto.
India
You
must
cannot have a
realize
veto
we are
on
chasing
India's
you
rise.
on the issue
You
of
cannot have a
Kashmir,
veto.
and we are coming
You are not a
after you.
veto. You are not a veto holding member of the Security Council. P5 is not, P doesn't stand for Pakistan. You're not a veto holding member.
All right, then
You can
become-
make
All
a
right,
fool of
I
yourself
give you a
before the
challenge.
international
I
community.
give you a challenge.
So
you are misleading
yeah.
the
Therefore,
people of India.
India will
All right,
rise.
become
India will get where it
member
wants to
of the
get.
UN
It
Security
doesn't need
Council
Pakistan.
without us.
Stop
Come and
wasting your
lick our
energy.
boots.
Accept the inevitable. Be a friends. Rise with us. Gain from India's
You know,
rise.
you're living
By fighting
in a
India's
fool's
rise, you are
paradise.
actually harming yourself.
All right,
That's
now,
saying you're
Mr.
harming
Pirzada,
yourself.
Mr.
You
Pirzada,
are
take a
not-
little bit of
you
a
would
break
have become a member of
because
the
I'm now
Security
going to
Council
debate number
had it
2 in
been
some
within your
time.
power. When
One
you don't have
second.
the power
One,
to do
Mr.
so.
Pirzada.